Your phone buzzes on the table, and before you've even read the screen, your heart is already pounding. A door slams somewhere in the building, and you freeze for half a second, listening. You walk to your car at night, and without deciding to, you glance at the back seat. You think these are just nerves. They're not. They're a 2-million-year-old survival system doing exactly what it was built to do, scanning for a predator that hasn't existed for thousands of years. Your body never got the message that the hunt is over. It is still running software written for a world of teeth and claws and darkness. And that mismatch between the world your body expects and the world you actually live in is quietly behind some of the most modern feelings you have. Your anxiety, your insomnia, your cravings. The sense sometimes of being watched when no one is there.
To understand why, you have to meet the part of your brain that has never once believed you are safe.
Deep in your brain, behind your eyes, sit two small almond-shaped clusters called the amygdala. This is your threat detector, and it is breathtakingly fast. In the 1990s, neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux mapped how fear actually moves through the brain. He discovered something strange. There are two pathways. The slow one runs the information up to your conscious mind, the part of you that thinks that's just a garden hose, not a snake. But there's a second pathway, what Ledoux called the low road, that skips your conscious mind entirely and slams straight into the amygdala. That's why you've already jumped back from the snake before you've consciously decided it's a snake. Your body reacts first. Then you find out why. For an animal being hunted, that head start is the difference between living and dying.
A tenth of a second is everything. When the amygdala fires, it triggers a cascade your body has used for millions of years. Back in 1915, physiologist Walter Cannon gave it the name we still use, the fight or flight response. Your adrenal glands flood your bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate spikes, your pupils dilate. Blood drains from your stomach and your fingertips and rushes to your large muscles. Your blood even thickens slightly, ready to clot a wound. Every single one of these changes is designed for one situation. A large animal is about to try to kill you, and you have seconds to either fight it or outrun it. It is a magnificent system. The problem is what happens when it goes off and there's nothing to run from. The biologist Robert Sapolsky spent decades studying stress, and he framed the problem perfectly with a single comparison. Picture a zebra on the savannah. A lion charges. The zebra's fight-or-flight system explodes into action. It sprints for its life. And then, 2 minutes later, if it survives, the chase is over. The lion is gone. The zebra goes back to grazing. Its stress hormones drop. The alarm switches off. Now picture you. You don't get charged by a lion. You get an email from your boss, a number on a bank statement, a message that just says, "We need to talk," a meeting in 3 days that you can't stop thinking about. Your body responds to all of these the exact same way it would respond to the lion. The same adrenaline, the same cortisol, the same pounding heart. Because the amygdala cannot tell the difference between a predator and a deadline. It only knows one thing: threat. But here's the difference that's quietly damaging you. The lion attack lasted 2 minutes. Your threat lasts 3 days, or 3 months. Your boss doesn't physically leave. The bank statement doesn't sprint away into the grass. So the alarm never fully shuts off. The cortisol that was meant to flood your body for 90 seconds drips into it for weeks. And a system built for short, sharp emergencies gets left switched on, wearing down your sleep, your immune system, your gut, your mood,
And it's not just deadlines. Watch what your body still does in the dark. For 300,000 years, night was when the nocturnal hunters came, the leopards, the hyenas. The humans who felt uneasy in the dark, who kept the fire close, who startled at a snapped twig, lived longer and had more children. So you inherited their nervousness. That jolt when the lights go out, that instinct to check the back seat, that prickle on your neck when a room feels wrong. Anthropologists call this last one hyperactive agency detection. Your ancestors who assumed the rustle in the grass was a predator and were wrong, lost nothing but a moment. The ones who assumed it was just the wind and were wrong were eaten. So evolution tuned you to over-detect, to feel watched, because a false alarm is cheap and a missed alarm is fatal. Even your fear of other people is ancient. Why does standing up to speak make your hands shake? Why does being judged feel like physical danger? Because for almost all of human history, you survived only as part of a group. To be rejected by your tribe, exiled, cast out, was a death sentence. There was no surviving the wilderness alone. So your brain learned to treat social rejection as a mortal threat. Neuroscientists have since found that social exclusion lights up the same brain regions as physical pain. When it feels like being left out actually hurts, that's not a metaphor. Your body files it under danger. The mismatch is hiding in your habits too. Why do you crave sugar, fat, and salt so badly? The exact things you're told to avoid. Because for nearly all of human history, those things were rare and precious. A ripe burst of sugar meant fast energy. Fat meant calories you could store against starvation. Salt was hard to find and essential to stay alive. The humans who craved these things hardest and ate them whenever they appeared survived the lean seasons. You are descended from the ones who couldn't resist. That craving kept them alive. In a world where the food never runs out, the same craving slowly works against you. And that moment when your mind goes completely blank under pressure, in front of a crowd, in an argument, in an exam, that's not weakness. It's the third option Cannon's system offers, the one we forget. Not fight, not flight, but freeze. When a predator's vision is tuned to movement, going perfectly still can save your life. Your body still reaches for that ancient stillness at the worst possible modern moment, when you most need the words to come. And if you wake at 3 a.m. with your heart racing for no reason, that's the night watch your ancestors kept. The vigilance that made sure someone in the group was always half alert to the dark. Your body is standing guard over a camp that was abandoned tens of thousands of years ago. Here's what nobody tells you about all of this. Your anxiety is not a flaw. Your racing heart, your hypervigilance, your fear of the dark and of judgment and of the backseat of your car, none of it is your body malfunctioning. It is your body working perfectly for a world that no longer exists. Every one of these systems was a gift, handed down from an unbroken chain of ancestors who survived precisely because they were afraid at the right moments. The nervous ones lived. The calm ones, the ones who wandered into the dark, who ignored the rustle in the grass, who didn't crave the calories, they often didn't make it long enough to become anyone's ancestor. So you carry the fear of the survivors. Every anxious instinct in you is a piece of someone who lived. Your body is not broken. It is loyal. It is a 2-million-year-old bodyguard who has never once taken a day off, still scanning the grass, still watching the dark, still waiting for a predator that is never coming back. The hunt is over. You are almost certainly safe. Your body just doesn't believe it yet.